So this is going to be a bit of a controversial video, since I'm part of this community, but I want to point out a few pet peeves I have with animation memes. Of course, this doesn't mean that I hate animation memes, but I have to admit that this community lacks the insight to see a few flaws with them, and I'm here to talk about that. The first thing I have is a flaw for both the animation community and the cringe compilation community. Both of you take animation memes way too seriously. The cringe comp community doesn't take the time to bother thinking about how the majority of people in the meme community aren't past their teen years yet, and don't have the need or drive to improve greatly and work on huge projects. And the animation community takes defending memes too seriously. One argument that gets on my nerves a lot is the argument that it's practice, but that's not true. Personally, I don't see a meme and think, oh, I want to practice by doing that. It's, oh, I want to do that because it's cool. People who practice when doing memes will work away from the source material. They'll put effort into making it their own and stretch the barriers. Using things like a higher frame rate or higher quality frames or more dynamic animation than most original memes usually have. Practice is finding out what you can't do or what you're not good at and working on it. Drawing for the fun of drawing is a valid reason to do memes, and probably what I do for, but you can't pass it off as practice. Then people say to just keep on drawing and you'll get better, as practice, and I also use that as a cop-out answer when people ask me how to get better at art. Because practicing isn't just to keep on drawing. Drawing a lot is one of those steps, but you also need to take in your flaws and work on those and try new things. People say that you don't have to study anatomy, or go into huge classes of figure drawing, or learn the basics to draw what you want, and in theory you don't have to. You can draw a cat the way that you want. But if you want to draw a cat the way it looks in your head, realistic and beautiful, or extremely stylized, then you need to learn things like anatomy and perspective and color theory. You have to know the rules to break them. You have a foundation to lay your building on once you learn the basics. So that got a bit off topic, but I'll drive it all back to animation memes. This here is one argument that I think a lot of people agree with, but won't admit. Animation memes are repetitive. I'm not saying that it's not satisfying to get thousands of views off of a looped tweening video, and I'm not saying that they can't look good, but it gets boring. Christmas Day, half of my subscription box was the Jin Jin Jingle Bell meme. Of course, I didn't watch any of them, because I knew what I'd be getting. I didn't want to spend the next 10 minutes of my life watching mirrored characters dance in Santa dresses. People can do what they want, but from a viewer's perspective, I want people to expand upon the memes. Make more than just a few flashing images in the original, or create animation memes that are original that don't get boring to watch. For example, I haven't gotten tired of English Blood or Forest Rave because they're repetitive but in a good way. They keep themes and general animations, but there's still a bit of a story and more to follow than just a few frames. Of course, I'm not going to turn this into a comment about putting effort into things. People can put effort into anything, but it will pay off to spend a bit more time making something original that doesn't get repetitive and boring more than it will pay to release another tween video with pretty much the same angles and the same character and the same pose than everybody else. Hey, this is Weed. Quick jumping back in because I was re-listening to the audio and I realized that one point I sort of forgot to make about the whole tweening versus more original-esque memes. I don't mean to say that if you're doing tweening memes that you should stop doing it or feel bad about it or feel like you're not putting effort into it. Because you are. You're doing work and you're putting effort into it. You feel me. Bust shot, edgy character, a few happy frames and then a flash of a dark one. These are fun to do, of course, and as a creator, I wouldn't like people calling me out on this, but as a viewer, they're just not fun to watch after a while. Creators shouldn't focus their entire creative effort on their viewers, but everyone feeds off of views, likes, and positive responses. If you want to get those, you have to put more into your work and make it more engaging for viewers. Working harder will only make your work better, whether it's now or in the future when you keep on working harder and learning from it. I'm not going to say that tweened memes are worth any less than animated memes, but it's just sort of this thing that I feel like tweened memes that are repetitive get a bit boring to watch. I just wanted to say that as a viewer rather than a content creator. Lastly, I'd just like to talk about a recent trend in animation memes. This graphic sexual imagery in a lot of them. I'm not going to call out people like Scott Jarzonski who have constantly and consistently made content with sexual themes. I'm talking about the people who don't do that follow trends. One theme that I don't like in current times is the belief that animation is for children, but currently it is and we have to deal with that. And to me it seems like the animation meme community on average is rather young. So it's a bit of a conglomeration of teens and the children watching them as inspiration. Meme creators in general, like Ginger Ninja and Flynn Mutt and Kitty Dog, have younger fan bases. And while, in certain situations, they'll break their usually kid-friendly vibe with a more mature-centric video, their content stays rather clean, or they use mature themes with a bit of, well, maturity. When they choose to use mature content, it's not because of the idea of being mature is funny, but that the joke is already humorous and just happens to be a bit mature. It's not supposed to be offensive or shock humor. But some people don't have this level of maturity, and it comes off in a bad way. Certain animators only include mature content like swearing or overly sexual themes for one reason. It's funny because it's mature, no other reason. Just because somehow a flying penis in the middle of your video is going to make it funny. You know, we make fun of this random LOLXD humor from 2009, but this is really no better. I'm gonna be honest, I found stuff like this funny for a while. But something happened, and my mother found a more mature joke of mine, and I was forced to explain why I found it funny. And when I really couldn't, it left me to realize that this stuff isn't funny. It's random for the sake of being random, mature for the sake of being mature. A flash of a penis or some boobs is supposed to be funny because it's shock humor. But where I stand, shock humor is low. Stuff like South Park is shock humor, and it's only funny because of the jarring contrast of what you expect and what you get. Of course, South Park is known for this and is a pretty well-done example, but most people in the meme community can't pull it off. It's thoughtless comedy. People think, oh, penises are funny, let's put one in a video. But the thing is that penises aren't funny without context. A good clip I'd like to point out is a clip from the Rooster Teeth podcast, 189, where the one speaker tells a story about accidentally pulling down his coworker's pants and seeing his penis, then bringing it up later to a friend and see the incident in a humorous manner. This has context, and the story itself is a setup, rising action, climax, and denouement. A frame of a penis says none of this, and it's only funny for a second or not funny at all. And the reason I feel the need to talk about this, rather than just disregarding it, is because of who it's affecting. Little kids. You know, just the other day I was talking to my friends about this, and I saw a video of a girl who couldn't be more than 11 or 12 years old doing the burnt rice meme while dancing in a sexual manner, like a real-life video. I'm not going to talk about whether or not it's morally correct for teens to be doing this, but this was like a little girl. Children who hardly even know what sex is and their bodies aren't able to even deal with this right now. And I know that a sexual dance isn't sex, but it leads to kids searching about it and seeing things they don't want to see. You can learn about it in time, but I don't think that learning about sex from penis jokes on the internet is the way to go. Because then kids grow up thinking that sex is a joke and funny and shouldn't be taken seriously. But it should, because if you don't take it seriously, you'll get in a lot of bad situations. And as a content creator who has geared a lot of content towards children or has had a large child fan base, you need to be aware of this. Once you're a role model, whether you like it or not, you need to stick to it, or at least have the conscience to. Just because I'm the pastor kid at my church doesn't mean I want to be nice to everyone, even the creepy guy who hits on my mom or the woman who caused her to break down and cry. It doesn't mean I want to spend my Sunday nights in a church group, but I do because I'm expected to. The fear of breaking those expectations makes me anxious because I know that people will see me as less of a person and be ashamed in me. I didn't always care about these expectations, not really up until this year. If you don't care about who you are or who you've made yourself out to be, and are completely fine with messing around with kids and showing them borderline pornography, then I can't stop you. But the humor in your actions are immature, and I hope that one day you'll see that and learn to become a better person. Well, I guess that's all. I went off on a pretty dark and serious rant at the end about sexual content, just because it's something I feel strongly about. And I hope you guys respect my opinion even if you don't agree with it. If you want to discuss this or leave feedback in the comments below, feel free to do so. And if you liked this video, subscribe for more or check out some other videos of mine. Anyway, have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night, folks.